Call to order at 7:02. And we have Eric, Mark, Rich, Liz, and me, Dana. The others should be along soon, we hope. And who read the minutes?
I have not, unfortunately.
Okay.
I read through it.
The only thing I got confused by, but I realized it would be, we're talking about something that doesn't exist yet, is this is the paragraph above discussion on page 4. Anyone could write a written objection except the Historic Review Committee. I realize that's a new, I guess that will be our kind of ad hoc, or not ad hoc, but a committee that doesn't exist yet. So I think that I was just confused, and now I realize that I didn't see anything wrong with the minutes. Anyone else?
I'm giving it a quick look now.
Yeah, I came in late, so
Yep. Oh, right. Well, it wasn't your fault.
it was.
I'm trying to recall if we came to any sort of actual agreement on who can write the written objection.
Right. I guess we'll be discussing that more today.
Yeah. Because it wasn't determined like where the Historic Review Committee actually fits into all of this yet. That was a question back for the Corporation Council, and I'm hoping that maybe Michelle will be able to go into some of that follow-up tonight.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we talked around it, but there was never really anything finalized until we knew for sure if this new committee was even going to exist or not, because like we kept saying, it kind of seemed kind of redundant doing the same things we're already doing.
But with 4, I guess they would have, what, 2 or 3 from the P&Z, and then other people with qualifications in the field, architecture, etc. I guess we can wait to vote on the minutes until next time.
I think as we discuss later tonight, you pick up things back from where we were 5 weeks ago or so. It'll jog our memories, and then I think from there we'll be able to clarify the minutes from last month.
Yeah, or we could just table it till the end.
Yeah, because we need to have, I guess, a quorum to even vote on that. So next up is public participation. I don't see any names outside our group. So we're out on to 5 reports from boards. Diane from Norwalk Historical Society.
Good evening, everyone. What we have coming up, I think everybody's aware that the Norwalk Earth Day Festival is coming up on Saturday, and that's going to be 11 a.m. to 3 on the green. So I hope that everyone will be able to come and participate or see what's all happening. So we're all very excited. And hopefully this is going to be rain or shine. So we're hoping the rain will stay away just long enough during the festival to make it happen. We're also, so at Mill Hill, we are having, there's a special guest speaker. His name is David Pogue, and he's written a book on climate change. And some of you may know who David Pogue is. He is a Sunday correspondent on TV. And he so whenever you turn it on, if you watch Sunday news programs, you will see him. And he's written books, and he's going to give us a talk starting at 11 a.m. Doors will open at 10:30. Tickets are available online through Eventbrite. So you've probably seen all the advertisements and flyers. And if you go to our website, go to the NorwalkEarthDay.org website, you will see all the activities that are going on. So besides that, there's going to be a walk from City Hall at 10 o'clock. There is going to be a walk down Wall Street. So it's going to be very active on Saturday. So again, please come to either all or some of the activities that are happening. For the Historical Society, next in May, we're going to be participating or have the Memorial Day open house at Mill Hill. So that's going to be from 10:30 to 12:30. Since the parade actually ends on the green, it's an opportunity. We find that a lot of people like to stop through Mill Hill and take a look at what's going on. So we'll be open that day. And then coming in June, Connecticut Open House Day is an annual event, and that's going to be Saturday, June 14th. And we will have, besides Mill Hill, it's going to be open, we're also going to have the museum by City Hall. So those of you who haven't come through there, please do. And that's going to be open from noon to 4 that day. So both locations will be open. And then we're actually having an activity with the DAR, Norwalk Village Green chapter, on June 21st. That's a Saturday. It's Scouts and Soldiers, Native Americans in the Colonial Militia and Wars. And we have Drew Shamtar Ravis will be our presenter that day. Should be lots of fun. It's going to be at 2 o'clock. And we wanted to do a program that would also be of interest to children. So this is a family event. Again, June 21st at 2. That's Saturday. And then the following week, we're going to have our Mill Hill Garden Party concert. That's Friday, June 27th at 6:30 at Mill Hill. So next couple of months, we're going to have quite a few things going on. Along with America 250, I don't remember if I said that the last time or it happened after the last meeting. Norwalk has an official commission, yay, that's going to be set up for America 250, and the representatives for the city of Norwalk will be Anna Rialt and Sabrina Kadeski. They do a lot of the business end of for Norwalk and tourism. So we'll be working with them, and we put together a list of people to invite to participate in the America 250 project. So that is next year, 2026. So we're now starting to put some things together with other organizations, which includes the Lockwood Matthews Mansion and Historic Rowayton, and also with Darien. So stay tuned for what's going on there. That's the end of my report. If you have any questions, ask.
Diane, have you considered reaching out to Heather Raker over at Mather House?
Yes, of course. They've been meeting for the last 6 months with Historic Rowayton.
Right.
Yeah, oh no, all of that, she's on there. So there's a whole list of events, and they're actually getting started a little earlier than we are. Like I think in May or June, they're going to start doing some events. So between Historic Rowayton and Darien. So all of that's coming into play. And Eric, I'm gonna announce you're gonna be on the committee also.
Yep.
Which is wonderful. So it should be a lot of fun, and we're gonna be learning a whole lot during this time, I bet. So and we want to educate the public on what's going on. Any other questions?
Oh, sounds great.
Great
Next
job on News 12, Diane.
Ooh,
Oh, that,
So
yeah.
that was awesome. You were really wonderful. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. So yeah, we represented, they wanted to do a snapshot of all the cities and the towns and cities within Fairfield County. So I did the one for Norwalk. So thank you.
Next up is Lockwood Matthews Mansion, and you can all fight over who gets to talk.
Susie goes first. Is she here?
Susie, the old unmute. She's so excited. There should be a hand.
You're still on mute, Susan.
We need the ALS for
All
unmute.
right, thank you for letting me know. So I wouldn't ramble on for another half hour. Yes, we're reopening finally the mansion in a few weeks. And we have several special tours and events, including the ribbon cutting ceremony on May 27, which we hope that you will all be part of. Invitations, Patsy and I are working on those, and we will send them out shortly. The America 250, we're very excited to announce that our first program for America 250 will be a talk featuring Commissioner Eric Chandler, who has agreed to be one of our speakers. So we're really excited because we know he's very knowledgeable about anything during of that period. And so as Diane was pointing out, there's lots to learn. We had a great talk on April 10 at HMTX. It was very well received. Patsy was able to get the location, which was really fabulous, and the talk was filled with lecture goers, and it was very successful. On May 18, we have another lecture. This time it's classic car culture and history making James Melton. I had an interesting call yesterday. It was a museum in Canada who had read about our lecture and wanted to know a little bit more about a Melton car that they have in their collection. So our lecture series and the promotion of it is going around quite extensively. On June 12, we have a wonderful new exhibit in collaboration with Silvermine. This will feature artwork by artists with a deep tie to that organization. And it will be a powerful metaphor for the mansion's own renewal and transformation during these past 2 years. The paintings that were selected by the curator and director, Roger Mudger of Silvermine, are absolutely spectacular. And I hope you'll be able to come to the opening reception, which is on the 12th, 5:30 to 7:30. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
All right, thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Can bring you up to date on where we are with construction. We're literally moving back in our collection, which had been stored in fine art collections, has all been returned to the site. We have restored the Randolph Rogers statue and the Herder base, which is it's just absolutely extraordinary. So we're very happy to have that
that as part of our opening. The restoration, this was funded, not through the building project, but funded by our gala fundraising. But also the front door restoration, which was also a separate grant, a matching grant with state preservation and one of our trustees, $150,000 project to restore the doors. They're going to be amazing. There's the wood itself has already been restored, but the doors had all kinds of metal on them, decorations, fleur-de-lis and straps and women's heads that haven't been there for, I don't know, maybe almost 100 years. So that's going to be very exciting. We are at the punch list part of the project, and the fence is scheduled to come down either Friday or Monday. So that's going to be a big happening for us. And the grounds are being cleaned up and getting ready for our opening. Susie mentioned that a formal opening is Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock at the mansion, and then tours and for everybody that is going to join us. We're also having a special pre-opening event with the contractors that have been involved with our project. We found throughout the project there was such an amazing interest by the tradespeople themselves. They fell in love with the mansion. They're very excited about it. And I had said, do you want to have a luncheon with the trades, or would you like to have a Saturday open house and bring your family and children and show them what you've been working on for the last two and a half years? So they voted for that, and they're all lined up, ready to come. These are people from all over the state and from Westchester County. So it's another great reach out for Norwalk and what we have to offer our area and the country as a whole. So it's hectic, it's stressful. We're trying not to kill each other in the process of moving in, but it's a huge job. So staff is looking to start to move in about a week to 10 days. And we'll be up and running for the summer and the fall, and I think really an amazing new adventure for Norwalk, with a lot of area and national attention for our wonderful mansion.
So when do we get to come look?
Well, we can, we are having a member and volunteer event. Susie, that's the 7th?
It's the 7th.
The
The
7th.
7th, 4 to 7.
7. We won't be all together, but it's planned to get our volunteers back on board. If you would like to come to that, and before anybody else sees things, we'd love to have you. So, and then you could also come back for the official opening. We will be not all together, but you'll get to see a lot of things. One of the two of the most outstanding parts of the non-mechanical aspects of the project are the restoration of the gift shop, the original kitchen. There were 8 layers of paint on the woodwork, and all of that has been stripped, and they're still working on preserving that woodwork. And in the process of doing our punch list and saying, why do we have this little hole here? You should fill it in. We discovered that there was an original stove in one of the rooms off of the gift shop that goes back to 1867. And the manufacturer is BEEDE out of New York. And in our research, we found that they participated with the the metal work for the Washington DC Capitol, not our Hartford Capitol, the dome of the Capitol. So Susie's been doing research and getting ready to do PR and have a big splash, but it's totally original. The coal and ash is still in the stove. So the discussion is, do we clean it or do we leave all the ash that's 150 years old in the stove? We voted to leave the ash in the stove. And then the other major addition is in the basement. The basement has been really transformed. The archives are a wonderful. We have all kinds of moving equipment and all new file cabinets and office space that will be a research center in the future, you know, as we can get unpacked and get staffed up to have that kind of activity. So we're excited, and we'll send out an invitation tomorrow. It's, well, I forgot what time it is on the 7th, Susie.
4 to 7.
4 to 7, okay? Any questions? All right. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
And I'm just going to announce, whether I can't remember whether Susie did or not, the Chamber of Commerce is honoring us, Lockwood Matthews Mansion Museum, on the Small Business Award. The first time the mansion's ever been honored by the Chamber of Commerce. So if you have nothing to do, like come out and have breakfast with us on June 4th at 8 a.m. at the Inn, right around the corner for most of you. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Okay. So that's it for Lockwood and the Historical Society. Next up, reports on buildings.
I can't think of anything to report on buildings right now. Not much going on, other than the mansion, of course.
Yep. Cemeteries, we know that someone hit the fence at Brookside.
Yeah, Dave, the handyman, repaired it. I haven't driven by to see it, but he sent me an invoice today, so I got to go by and look. But he said he replaced most of the fence.
Yep. I don't know how they did that, but anyway, they didn't hit any headstones, so and financial.
Did they know who did it?
You know, there was bits of car. It must have been a truck because it was high up. I didn't see any skid marks. It was just kind of where they cracked the posts, and there was actually a new railing. But I don't know. Someone was bored, I guess.
We had fixed a rail over the winter sometime.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, he split that too. Finance, I've actually kind of lost track of where the city is with the budgets. Michelle, do you know, did they approve the operating and capital budgets yet?
I want to say they did, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll look that up.
I feel like I saw something from one of the council members saying that there was an approval or at least consideration of a $55 million plan. That's the capital budget.
Yeah.
Well, they have till middle of April, don't they, to approve it?
Yeah, something like that. But I know there was some issues, but I never figured out exactly what they were. But I'll look it up. I'll look it up on the website to see if the budgets have been, the approved budgets have been published yet.
Okay, thanks. Next up is old business. Discussion of proposed revision to chapter 55 demo delay. And then establishing a subcommittee to, I forget the words, Michelle can fill me in.
Sure. So I don't have anything too new. I think when I went back and started to speak to staff, and we do this a lot with the Planning and Zoning Commission, and it helps kind of drive the ship with the, like, getting everybody's ideas in, is just coming up with maybe 2 members of the Historical Commission just to help me and meet with me on separately on the ordinance itself. So you guys can bring the thoughts of about what revisions are needed and appropriate, and kind of speak for the commission instead of, I know I've come back and forth a couple times with some revisions, but perhaps the better route would be to kind of have a subcommittee to help write the ordinance, and then we can meet separately.
Well, I know it's only my second meeting on the commission, but I'd love to volunteer for that if possible.
Yay. Who's our next victim? I mean, volunteer.
Strike that from the record.
Hmm. Do we have to decide tonight? Probably.
I mean, if there isn't, if you guys want to put all your eggs in Rich's basket, then I could just work with him, with the assumption that he kind of knows
Yeah.
what you guys are feeling. But I mean, typically like a little subcommittee of 2, but I guess I can start working with Rich on things, and then perhaps if anybody that is interested can email me and we can add you to it.
Don't let me walk alone out there, guys.
If you let us know in advance what the meeting date would be. My schedule is pretty jammed up, but if I'm free, I'd be willing to come along.
Same.
Okay, yeah. I can definitely let you know when we plan to meet.
Yeah, I just need some advance notice.
Rich, usually what time would work for you?
I work from home. I'm pretty flexible.
Okay,
I'm,
awesome.
you know, I can do early mornings, I can do evenings, whatever.
Okay, sounds good.
You talking in person or Zoom?
I think Zoom is more convenient, but we can meet in person, perhaps.
Zoom,
'cause
Zoom would probably work better for me.
Yeah, it's more convenient.
Yeah.
Okay,
You'll provide us a copy of what documents there are in existence the way they're written right now. Because I don't have whatever got sent out weeks ago.
sure. Yep.
Okay.
Michelle, was there any feedback at all from staff about the conversation that we had last month?
Yeah, I spoke with our director of planning and zoning, Steve Kleppen, about, basically, trying to boil everybody's ideas into one ordinance and then getting the feedback after following that meeting. And the idea of maybe of having like a third-party reviewer, I think that's probably a bigger question mark because that's a whole slew of different funding and everything. But I think, yeah, we just kind of have to tease out what our goal is, and then make sure that the ordinance follows it. So, I mean, it's really, the ordinance is in effect. It's, it's still effective right now and is, building department's applying it. It's not like there's nothing being applied to the demolition delay ordinance currently. So, really, whatever that subcommittee is thinking, we can, make the changes to it necessary.
And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a fairly strong consensus last time around that, the commission as a whole didn't want to approve anything or be in favor of something that would undermine the ability of this body to, assume its mandate. So I
Right.
think that's the position that we would hold going in, with any further discussions with the city.
Right, makes sense.
Can I just ask a question? I'm sorry I wasn't here at the last meeting, or I had to leave early. The idea is to have a separate, like a subcommittee review?
So
Is that what you were talking about at the beginning?
yeah, so this, I mean, just to give a little more background to it, so some of the people from the public were confused about practically like roles and what happens when and who's making the decision and when does it go to the commission and when the public hearing. So we were trying to button it up a little bit and give roles. And so I had some discussions with the ordinance committee of common council and corporation council, just for starters. And then we kind of started having those discussions, and then where the separate review committee came in is because there was a conflict between the historical commission possibly being, and possibly most likely being, the objector and then the decision maker. So they're objecting to the demolition, and then once they go to the commission ultimately is going to be able to say, do they lift the delay or is there an alternative? So basically corporation council and that committee or that meeting resulted into a draft of having a separate review committee. So the historical commission could still make the objections, but then there would be a review committee that would meet when there was an objection. So it'd be kind of like an ad hoc separate committee. And then, so, but when that was presented to the historical commission, the thoughts were that it was kind of duplicative work and kind of taking away some of the authority of the historical commission. So we're going back to the drawing board and seeing where the appropriate pathway to just make sure that ultimately it's all clarity for everybody. That's probably the overarching goal of everything. So
Okay.
And the thought was it'd be some 2 or 3 from planning and zoning, and then some other people with expertise
Yeah.
in architecture or something.
Yeah, there's so there's, and I've done a bunch of research and based off what Preservation Connecticut has out there. A lot of towns do it all sorts of different ways. Some people have review committees that, consist of members like that. Others don't. Sometimes, there isn't even an objection. It like all goes to a committee. So it really depends on the town and how they want to utilize that legislation and have their demolition delay. So it's just, so working with what we currently have written out and kind of making it so everybody, including, the applicant who's trying to demolish, the objector, this commission, building department, all know what their role is and when to do it.
But this subcommittee idea has been abandoned, or it's being, I mean, my only concern when you say this, I heard this, what piqued my interest is that you need people who have expertise in historic preservation and architectural history to judge things. I don't know the planning and zoning staff, but I don't know that there's any, I haven't seen any interest or any indication of P&Z staff that they have that expertise. So that concerns me greatly. You need to have people who really understand what is significant and what is not significant. And there can be disagreement within that, but it needs to be people who actually have the expertise to understand that, argue about it, not just people familiar with our zoning. I mean, that's not the deal. This isn't about planning and zoning. It's about whether something is significant historically or architecturally, period. And it has to be looked at through that lens. And that's what the Historical Commission always tried to do. And we had our disagreements when I was on the commission, but we worked through them. But it boiled down to, is it, it's not really that subjective in the end of the day.
Maybe we need to look to outside sources. Maybe
Yeah.
we need to investigate for architectural historians outside of our parenthetical city and commission.
Right.
Well, that's the advantage of having like an architectural reviewer, an outside reviewer. But again, then there's a funding issue associated with that.
Right.
And then my only concern with that is just that does an outside and someone outside of that does not have Norwalk historical knowledge, we've run into this before where we've had applicants give opinion, here's their opinion from some guy from New York City and said, yeah, this building is architecturally significant. Well, you know what? You're not looking at that building within the context of the South Norwalk Historic District. The buildings where they want to build a hotel. That was really the issue. Those buildings are significant. I agree they're not so architecturally significant, but they're historically significant because, it was the most successful Jewish businessman in Norwalk. And, that was all discounted by the guy from New York, the architectural reviewer from New York that the developer hired.
So then, other than somebody like Ralph Bloom, do we have a city historian?
Well, not really. I mean, there is no other person like Ralph Bloom. There, people like Todd Bryant, people on this commission. Lisa Wilson Grant has written books. Eric, you're very knowledgeable. Dana, you're very knowledgeable. Mark, you're very knowledgeable. Liz, you're knowledgeable. I mean, Rich, I'm sorry, I don't know you at all.
That's okay. It's my second.
Even though you're from New York, it's okay.
But it's not like, it's not like we don't know what we're, we as in, I'm not on the commission anymore, but the commission, Dana, everybody here has a pretty deep knowledge on Norwalk historical stuff. So, there is a strict architectural historical review, that's brought to the table. That could be brought to the table by a historical architect. That would be useful. And we don't have any historical architects on the commission, I believe.
Yeah, there was that fellow from Stanford who spoke up about the buildings in where the hotel's supposed to go. Wes, I forget his last name.
Wes Haynes.
But I don't know is it Wes Haynes? I'm getting mixed up with some other person, but
from Preservation, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a circuit writer. He used to.
Okay, I thought he lived in Stanford. I don't know why I thought that, but
it would be helpful to have an architectural historian.
Somebody like him.
To just look at the pure
yeah.
significance of the architecture, and then that's supplemented by the historical knowledge that certainly exists on this commission and a few others around. But having staff from planning and zoning, and I don't mean this in any kind of disrespectful way, weigh in on that. It's like, unless you have that background and that knowledge, your opinion, I fail to see the relevance of an opinion. No offense at all intended. It needs to be the people. I think the only thing, in terms of, when I was running the commission, and I'll stop because who wants to hear all this? I was very careful we tried, the commission members never filed an objection. Somebody, third party, always filed an objection. And then we looked at, do we agree with this objection or not? And, probably more often than not, we didn't agree with it because usually there wasn't basis on it, but there were many times when we did. And then we held a public hearing and, implemented the delay. But at the end of the day, even with the new ordinance, the power the commission has is, and the city has is very, very limited. It's implementing a 180-day delay, and at the end, they can do whatever they want. So I'm not,
120.
other than just, yeah, 120, we wanted it to be 180. That's allowed by state law. But I think it's just, I think the historical commission can run all this in a very straightforward way. And just, you know, and I'm not that familiar with the new ordinance. So I don't know what changed, but I know the basics of the actual power at the end of the day didn't change because state law hasn't changed, and Norwalk hasn't enacted any laws, and Norwalk doesn't have any local historic districts. So we're limited. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, it's helpful, because I think coming up with just the solution that, I mean, we have the tools in front of us, so, you know, making it clear that the historical commission isn't making an objection, you know, blanket statement, putting something like that, that just shows that there won't be a conflict of interest while the historical commission does make the decision. And then in a perfect world, we get a historian, architect on the commission and we recruit somebody, because you guys have a lot of seats open. So, I mean, that would be awesome, but.
You know, unfortunately, it has to be somebody from the city of Norwalk, right?
Yeah.
Someone's got to be living in.
Correct.
And I keep
So
I
my
keep going
next
back to
question,
that.
my
Oh.
next question then, in that same vein, I forget the name of the company, but they were the ones that have been willing to work with us on refurbing historic homes, but extending them out to add apartments.
Viking?
Yes.
Okay.
Would it be a conflict of interest for one of them to sit on the commission? And as long as they recuse themselves if they have business before the commission on another one of their projects. Because they seem to be pretty knowledgeable. Crickets.
Would they
Crickets.
serve as a commissioner?
Yeah. Or maybe as a consultant, either.
So my experience in New York City, there are, in the historic commission there are 11 commissioners. A lot of them are their own, you know, historic preservation consultants, whatever they may be. So if a project were to come up, they would be forced to recuse themselves from
Mhm.
any item. They wouldn't be in a public hearing, wouldn't be at a
Mhm.
vote, and none of that.
Mhm.
So there's precedent for that, at least somewhere around the country.
So David, you think Danny, you think they would be worth approaching?
It sounds, well, you'd have to find out where they lived.
I was just gonna say, they have to live in Norwalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like almost a conflict of interest, and was there some other group besides Viking? Well, that other place that hasn't gone forward, the project's on Flax Hill, but that's another group. The name Live Home or something like that. I've Home.
Yeah, but they hired architects.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I don't think they have any architects on staff.
More crickets.
I'm thinking.
And the Norwalk Preservation Trust, they have some architects in there.
We'll have to entice some of those people.
And yet more crickets.
Well, we're thinking.
Well, if we have so many seats open, I mean, how do people know about the commission? I mean, I understand, I mean, we don't advertise, but is there a way to try to openly attract other people? I don't know what the procedure is.
On
Or
the
maybe in the architectural community. You
Yeah.
know, somebody is a resident of Norwalk.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
on the city's website, there is like vacancies on, you can click it and then it'll tell you how many vacancies are per like commission or committee. But yeah, advertisement goes, it's usually either somebody finding out about it or perhaps like recommendations.
It's generally been, I know a guy from somebody already on the commission or on the Historical Society. I know a guy.
Well, maybe if we all know a guy, we can ask somebody. Think
then-
about somebody that we might know that maybe they don't have no idea. Maybe this is something that they, you know. like
And
to
then we
look
have to, I think we're kind of stacked with Democrats, so independents or Republicans are needed also, so. I guess you do have to be a voter to be on.
No,
No, you don't have to? Okay, you don't have to be a registered voter?
I don't think so.
Okay,
You
No,
can be,
just-
you can be unaffiliated, I think.
okay, yeah, unaffiliated was,
You just have to be a resident of Norwalk and you send a
Okay.
letter to the mayor with your qualifications and say, I would like to be appointed to this. And it always helps if somebody from the commission whispers in the mayor's ear and says that we like this person.
you just heard what David said, he's volunteering again. Oh, wait, he can't be on the.
I have to get off
He
redevelopment.
can't be on it, no. So put your thinking caps on for possibilities to fill out our staff, our commission.
How many openings are there?
3, I think. I think we can have 11, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're short 3. We'll have to entice new members with,
Free
I don't
food.
know, polo shirts or something.
And I just want to add, going back to the subcommittee for the ordinance and meeting with Rich, and I'll send it out to all of you, but just so you're aware, if there is more than one additional person, we just don't want to fall into a quorum issue. So when I do send it out to everybody, and then everybody's going to be potentially interested after the fact, I just want to make it aware, then that will trigger it being like a full meeting again, just to make it known.
Mhm.
So Michelle, remind me again who would be on the subcommittee?
I just need 2 people from the commission just to meet on the side.
And that's with
heard
people from
Eric,
planning and
I
zoning.
thought, Mark, you said
No,
you'd be into it too.
yeah, Eric and Mark mentioned being
Get
interested.
captured.
So this is just a subcommittee within
This
ourselves?
commission, correct,
Got
yeah.
it, okay. No,
I might bring in other people to discuss with you guys, like council, if it makes sense and everything like that.
Mhm.
Actually, that would make a lot of sense because if we're
Yeah.
going to try and make decisions, it would be good to know standpoint from zoning, standpoint from legal, and
Right.
so on.
Okay,
And what would be the time frame for when we'd start meeting?
we'll just have to get the calendars together. There's really no set rush, but you know, within the next week or so.
Okay, great. It'll be fun.
Okay, so that's the the old business, I think we're finished for the moment. Do we have any new business? I don't think so. And number 9, Eric's favorite part of the meeting.
Before we do that, Diane, I have a question for you because while I have my calendar out here, what is the date for the program with the DAR?
For the June 20, hold on, June 21st.
That's Drew Ravis, right?
Yep.
Okay, so, all right, great, thank you. That said, not that this hasn't been fun, but I move to adjourn.
So just one thing,
yes.
I did check the budgets were approved according to a council person I texted. But they haven't been posted on the website. And as far as I know, nothing has changed, but I never believe it until I see the final posted budget that somebody didn't change something. So they're going to ask the finance director to post the budgets. So stay tuned. If there's anything terrible or missing, I will let you know right away.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. So
Second.
who wants to second Eric's? Oh, Mark. Oh, 2. So a 3. Universal. That's not
Unanimous.
All right.
That's the word I wanted. Okay. Thank you all.
Good night,
for your
all.
time. And
Night,
see you May
everybody.
28th, if not sooner.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.